Derrick Rose wasn't motivated by his love of the game so much in recent seasons as revenge. He wanted to prove all the doubters wrong. All the people who said he would never make it back to the top in the NBA, everyone who said he was washed up, everyone who said the series of knee injuries did him in. No more. He's comfortable in his own skin and just wants to do whatever is needed to win a title in Cleveland. Rose talked about it with Dave McMenamin of ESPN. "I was in a dark place years ago, man," Rose said Saturday. "By dark place, I mean, I was playing, like, revenge basketball, and that wasn't my way of playing basketball. I enjoy competing, but when I came back it was about just trying to get back to the top and proving everybody wrong. Like, I know who I'm as a man, I know who I'm as a player or person. There's no point in doing that anymore. It's just being secure as a person and knowing who I am." Maybe reality hit Rose when the best offer on the table for him was $2.1 million from the Cavaliers. Whatever the motivation, the Cavaliers need Rose this season. Rose was signed to be the backup to Kyrie Irving. Just go out with the second unit and get some buckets and keep things tight while the stars rest, something the Cavs struggled with last season. Then Irving was traded for an injured Isaiah Thomas, and with him out for an unspecified first part of the season, there is a rumor the Cavs are targeting Christmas for his return. Rose is going to have to be the starting point, which means working off the ball with LeBron, and picking his moments to get his. While reports out of Cavs workouts are good, we all need to see it in person to buy in. Rose, though, will still get his chance to prove everyone wrong. Maybe not wanting to is the key. Going into his third season, Karl-Anthony Towns should be an all-star, even in a stacked West, and probably an Alma player. He had the most votes of anyone left off last season. He's going to, along with Jimmy Butler, lift the Timberwolves into the playoffs. But his goals are much bigger than that. He expects to be the best player in the NBA. Period. This is how he put it to Mark Spears of The Undefeated. "My confidence has always been so high. I felt coming into the league I could be that easily," Towns said this week after practice at the University of California, San Diego. "I always knew it was just a matter of time. But before I was even drafted, I felt that I had that ability, faith and confidence in myself to do that regardless to what team I'm with. I'm very blessed to be with the Timberwolves, because with them I've expedited that process a lot. That is definitely something that I see in my sight, being the best. I'm getting better every year," Towns said. "I'm getting smarter. I'm getting faster, quicker, so I feel like I can easily be that. It's just a matter of time for me." This is a realistic goal for Towns. Completely realistic. Towns is part of a new breed of elite big men, such as Anthony Davis, who are 7 foot but have all-around skills. He can post guys up, run the floor, shot 36.7% from 3 last season, and he can defend. That's the part of his game that most needs to improve, and he did look better as a rim protector in person at the Timberwolves preseason opener against the Lakers. He's unlike any other player in the NBA. Maybe the best comparison is Olajuwon, but that's not quite right, and not quite fair to Towns either. He's entering his third season and is a top 20, maybe top 15 player in the league right now. Part of the perception of being the best player is being on a winning team, and he's about to be on that. It will be a couple of years. Those guys LeBron and Durant are still good at this basketball thing, but in a few years we may well be the best player in the NBA. And we will not blink at it. It was a bold stroke by the Celtics' Danny Ainge. He traded away Isaiah Thomas for Kyrie Irving. That was one of a number of significant moves by Ainge this summer. 11 of the 15 roster spots changed over, including 4 of 5 starters, but trading Thomas was the big one. On paper, the moves make sense. Irving is younger, taller, locked in for a couple of years on his contract. Thomas is a free agent next summer, and Irving is not injured right now while Thomas is. But Thomas was a fan favorite who poured his heart out in Boston. He played in a playoff game the day after his sister's untimely death, and was the heart and soul of the team. Jaylen Brown told Complex magazine he sees the opportunity but said deal changes the Celtics culture. It changes the whole dynamic, the whole culture. We'll see if it's for good or bad, time will tell. But it's still a little weird to me, to be honest, because when I came in everything they stressed was culture, environment, Celtic basketball. Now, it's like, what is the environment, the culture, what is Celtic basketball? I think it's a great opportunity for me, great opportunity for the Celtics, great opportunity for Kyrie. Obviously, I loved Isaiah. He was like a big brother to me. I watched him, admired him, the chip he carried on his shoulder. I love him. I still do. I've kept in contact with him. Congratulated him when he got traded to the Cavs. It's tough because it's the business we live in. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily. I think Isaiah definitely tried to plant his flag in Boston. He will definitely be missed. He and Jay Crowder both. Culture on a team comes from two places. First, you need coaches and management ownership who understand how to build the culture they want. Boston has that with agent coach Brad Stevens. But it has to come from the team leaders and best players as well. Is San Antonio the same if Greg Popovich doesn't have Tim Duncan? The Warriors if Steve Kerr doesn't have Stephen Curry? Thomas had been a central part of the culture in Boston and key for Stevens. Same with Avery Bradley, also gone. Maybe with Irving and Gordon Hayward the culture will continue, but it's a fair question to ask. Stevens will likely work his magic, and the Celtics will be the Celtics again. But it is going to feel a little different. While a few teams with star players in their primes went all in this summer to chase the Warriors, Houston, Oklahoma City, Cleveland, there is a sense for many teams around the NBA they would rather spend the next couple of seasons building a core and aim for being good in 3 or 4 years when these Warriors may be vulnerable. While Golden State has Stephen Curry locked up long-term and will do the same for Kevin Durant next summer, in a couple of summers Golden State will have to pay Klay Thompson, then the summer after that Draymond Green. There is hope around the league that those other two stars decide to want max money or larger roles. The Warriors will have to move on. Or, maybe not. Thompson told Marcus Thompson and Tim Kawakami of The Athletic on their podcast he would consider taking less than the max to keep the team together. What about a Durant-level $9 million cut? I probably could, yeah. That much I don't know. I don't make as much as Kevin off the court. If it's a few million, it's a blessing whatever contract I sign. I would definitely consider it cause I don't want to lose anybody. Maybe it's because he grew up with a father who was a former #1 pick and a guy who got to win rings with Magic Johnson's Showtime Lakers, but Thompson has not always treated money as the status symbol and sign of respect other players do. Don't get me wrong, he wants to get paid, but he values winning more than most young players and he has said before he might consider a haircut on his salary to help keep the team together. Ultimately, this becomes a question for Warriors ownership. How much tax are they willing to pay to bit the bullet this summer, resigning Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston, but they got a little assist from Durant. The Warriors' tax bill going to go up heavily in future years. Durant will opt out next summer and want a max after his 1-year discount, then Thompson and Green eventually need to be paid. That said, the Warriors made $91 million in profit last season according to leaked NBA documents, and soon they will move into a new home arena that will be a revenue generation machine. At what point does Warriors ownership balk at the price tag? The problem for the NBA's other 29 teams, they don't have to answer that question for a couple of seasons, and in the interim they will be a force. Michael Beasley has never lacked for confidence. The number 2 pick in the 2008 draft also never lacked for a scoring touch, and that gets you a lot of chances in the NBA. Beasley has had his share of off-the-court problems, actually, his share in a couple other players' shares as well, but he's trying to move on from that. He was solid in the games he played for the Bucks last season, and now he will get the chance in New York to take the next step. He told Yaron Weitzman if the Bleacher Report he just needs an opportunity he felt he hasn't had in the past. He said that in about the most Beasley way possible. It's mostly perception. As far as talent-wise, I match up with Kevin Durant, LeBron, I match up with the best guys in the world, Beasley says. I'm not being cocky, it's just always how I felt. But I got into trouble as soon as I got into the NBA, and it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. The off-court issues certainly. Limited interest and opportunities in the past, but no, HES not on those guys' level. We could discuss defense or playmaking differences, but that would be just stating the obvious. The reality is Beasley has had opportunities before, but he didn't take advantage of them. He said before he was a changed man, and he wasn't. However, his ability to get buckets got him another chance with Milwaukee last season, and he was good enough and changed enough that New York came calling. Now he gets an opportunity to take the next step. It's on Beasley to live up to his words now. Not be as good as Durant and LeBron words, but just being a quality NBA rotation player the Knicks can lean on would be a big start.